In this video, we're going to discuss how to find intercepts of graphs. Okay, so first off, what is an intercept? Remember, intercept is just where you cross the axis. So the X-intercept would be where you cross the x-axis, and the Y-intercept would be where you cross the y-axis. So, you know, when you have a graph, okay, this is the x-axis and this is the y. So when you cross the y-axis, you know, this isn't, I'm not drawing what this graph looks like. This is just an example. Okay, so when you cross the y-axis, that's where x equals 0. And then when you cross the x-axis, that's where y, you know, because y goes here, so y right there is 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this example. First, let's start with finding the x-axis. I mean, not the y, the x-intercept. Okay, so let's start by finding the x-intercept. So the way that we do that, okay, so like this is an example of where the x-intercept would be crossing through the x-axis. And the way we do that is we set y equal to 0. Okay, so 0 equals x squared plus 10x minus 3. Okay, I just plugged in 0 for y. That's all I did. So now I just need to solve this. So this is not easily factorable. I'm going to go ahead and use the completing the square method to solve this. So let's remember how to complete the square. Remember, a complete square, say for example, x plus k squared equals d. Okay, so x plus k is the complete square, and then x squared, if I were to just FOIL this out, this is the same thing as x squared times 2xk plus k squared equals d, right? These two things are exactly the same. I just rewrote this one where I FOILed this out, basically. The idea is that if I'm ready to complete the square, I need to get it into this format. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I'll get 3 equals x squared plus 10x. All right, I want it to look like this over here. So I'm going to rewrite this as x squared plus, I need the 2 and I need the x. And then in order to have made that 10x, this is going to have to be also multiplied by 5. So 5 is clearly what k is over here. So then this will be plus 5 squared. Now, if I added 5 squared to one side of the equation, right, 5 squared did not used to be there, right, but if I added it, then I must also add it over here. So plus 25. 5 squared is 25. So if I add it to the right-hand side, I have to also add it over there. So 3 plus 25 is 28. Okay, and then this, let me make sure you guys can see this. So this right here is the same as this over here, which is the same thing. So it should be x plus k, k is 5, squared. All right. So 28 equals x plus 5 squared. So now I need to use the square root method to solve this. So I'll have plus or minus the square root of 28 equals x plus 5. Okay, that's using the square root method. If I were to solve for x, I'd have plus or minus the square root of 28 minus 5 equals x. Now, I really ought to simplify this by taking, let's see, I'm going to do this over here. So I'm going to simplify this. So plus or minus the square root of 28 minus 5, this is what x equals. Alright, so square root of 28 is the same thing as 4 times 7, right? 28 is 4 times 7, right? Now I can break this out as plus or minus the square root of 4 times the square root of 7 minus 5, okay? So this is the same thing as plus or minus 2 square root of 7 minus 5 equals x. Alright, so now I have two x-intercepts, okay? The first one is going to be the negative version, so I'll have, remember when you're writing a point, so right now I'm going to write the x-intercept and I'm going to write it as a point. You always write points x comma y. So first I'll start with the x value and then comma y is 0. So that's the first x-intercept. The second is the positive version, okay, comma 0. Okay, so these are the x-intercepts. So next I need to find the y-intercepts. I'm going to do that. Running out of room, but I have a little bit of room right here, and then find the y-intercept is much easier. So let's find the y-intercept here. So to find the y-intercept, that means I'm going to plug in 0 for x. So I'll have y equals 0 squared plus 10 times 0 minus 3. So that basically means, this is 0. That's 0 too, because 10 times 0 is 0. So I basically have y equals negative 3. So the y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 3. Remember, you write x, comma, y. So x is 0, and y is negative 3. And so there you go, there's my y-intercept. Okay, let's do one more example. In this one, so we'll find the x-intercept. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 0 for y, x minus 4 squared minus 9. I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So I'll get 9 equals x minus 4 squared. Take the square root of both sides. Square root of 9 is 3. So don't forget plus or minus 3, right? Because this could be either positive or negative. Okay. And then I'm going to add 4 to both sides to get x by itself. So I'll have plus or minus 3 plus 4 equals x. So let's break this down into two different pieces. So let's first start with the minus, and then we'll also do the plus. Oops. Alright, so negative 3 plus 4 is 1. And then 3 plus 4 is 7. So my two x-intercepts are 1, comma, 0, and 7, comma, 0. Okay, in these two examples, we had two x-intercepts and one y-intercept. It's not always going to be that way. Sometimes you can have lots of x-intercepts. You could have one x-intercept. Okay, so just because both these examples had two x-intercepts, it's not always there's two x-intercepts. So to find the y-intercept, plug in 0 for x. So I'll have y equals 0 minus 4 squared minus 9. So minus 4 squared minus 9. So this will be 16, right? Negative 4 squared is 16 minus 9. So let's see, that will be 7. Okay? So my y-intercept will be, so x comes first, comma, y. And so that's my y-intercept.